that which has been denied and held in the shadows for so long, you don't just get to welcome it home as easily as that. It usually needs to be seen, to be felt, to be heard, as if re-experienced in some kind of way. That allows it to be released, because that's where the pain is. And if it was just a case of loving it while it comes back home, it would be easy. And it's not easy. Emotion is like the underbelly of our existence. It's not so easy to release. And that's why we push it away, and always really have pushed it away. But you see, emotion is intelligent. It's always trying to get home. And it mimics us in so many ways, because on the spiritual journey, we're trying to get home. But it is a tendency to think, not that, because we're used to pushing it away. But you can't push it away, because emotion is intelligent, and it's seeking the same wholeness that we're all seeking. If you try and push it away, it becomes destructive. It disappears, it sinks inside. So the call is really, on this spiritual journey, to become emotionally intelligent, emotionally aware of our emotionality, aware of our tendencies, aware of everywhere we turned away from what hurt, everywhere we've kind of denied it. We're great at covering up what hurts. We're great at denying the pain, the suffering, the wounding, although we're not really. We're not really that good at it, because it busts out all over the place and it fractures us. It renders us separate from ourselves, from the deepest parts of ourselves. And so we can't really come home in so many ways. We can't really know union with all that is, with the magnificence of cosmic consciousness, but be kind of somehow fragmented, dissociated from our inner world. You can't have that dichotomy. And I mean, maybe it's easier for some people than it is for others. You know, some people who haven't maybe had as much wounding in the past, that, you know, they don't, you know, have to in so many ways kind of re-experience, reintegrate, re-feel, recapitulate, you know, go back over, forgive, you know, let go of grievances. Although if they do, maybe they just, you know, maybe not so much. But a lot of people suffer. You know, I've worked with so many people. A lot of people are suffering, have suffered the wounds of the past, the emotional traumas, the ancestral, you know, karma that just, you know, has gone on generation after generation. And I know a lot of people who are carrying, you know, the wounds of generations, the wounds of unconscious patterning. Nobody's really to blame in many ways. It's just the momentum of unconsciousness, you know, that keeps on going until it comes to us, you know. And then we, you know, if you're involved or you're engaged on some kind of spiritual journey, well, then it comes to you. And you're called, you know, each of us is called in a way to be the one where the buck stops. where we stop, denying our pain, denying our wounding, denying the ancestral burden, and then in that denial inflicting it upon others, either upon our spouse, upon our loved ones, upon the world, upon ourselves, upon our animals, and of course upon our children if you happen to be the custodian of children. And it's a great responsibility to be the one where the buck stops. Is a great responsibility. I've talked about this so many times. I think there's a great responsibility, a great honour, and but it's not easy to do this, and it calls us to really dig down into the mud, into the mud of our inner world, and to be prepared to meet shadows and be prepared to meet that which has been denied, that which has been neglected. Yes, it really hurts. I remember when I came undone, which didn't happen in one fell swoop of enlightenment. It was a gradual erosion over years, and the journey does never stop. But I remember when I really started to come undone, there were all sorts of cathartic kind of experiences. And then over time something really started to break open, and it was so painful. It really was painful. There were hot tears, there were cold tears, there were, in the body. The body was just holding on for dear life, and then eventually it broke open, and then what was in started to come out, and it was such a blessed relief to let go. It's such a beautiful thing to let go and not hold, so tightly onto the reins, because when we find ways to let go, we stop. We let go of the definition of ourselves through those wounds, because it's a strange thing with this underbelly, that we carry around, the underside of us. It's a funny thing, because in some ways it defines us. Who are we if we let go of that wounding? Who are we if we let go of our pain? Who are we if we let go of our troubles and our grievances and our regrets and our looking back, our backward facing mirror? We look backwards as much as we look forwards. And when we're not defined by the backwardsness of us, the looking backness of us, where are we? Who are we? It's a big question. And I know for myself, it rendered me, you sort of, there's the existential void in so many ways. Because if you let go of, who you were and who you thought you were and who you were defined as in many ways, by everything that had happened and all of this and all of that, then who are you? Are you just empty? Are you just nobody? Does it completely destroy the self? These are important questions that we need to kind of ask. And I think what I'm saying really, the bottom line to cap it off is don't turn away, turn towards, be prepared to meet yourself, be prepared to meet what's being carried, be prepared to meet, not in this way, not in a fighting way, not in a just acquiescent way either, but in the sort of, a deeper allowing, a deeper meeting, a deeper kind of intimacy. That's what I'm trying to say, an intimacy with ourselves. Because that intimacy, it changes something about us. It brings presence. Intimacy is presence. We think intimacy is some kind of love thing or something, but it's just as much presence as it is love, because they're the same thing. To be fully present is to be fully loving of what is here, what is happening, without any resistance. And this is intimacy. This is great intimacy with ourselves. With the communion with ourselves is the communion with life. And this is a great blessing and brings this harmony that I'm talking about.